Confirmation email. The confirmation email tab, seen here in Express, can control things such as policies, how much money is collected as a deposit, and how much is charged for a cancellation. All of the policies that you configure on the confirmation email tab are displayed on your various booking channels. On OpenBook Direct, for example, they're displayed on the same page where the guest enters their contact and billing information, seen here. The guest is required to check and agree to a box that says, "I have read the policies and accept them." The policies also display on the thank you page of the booking engine once a reservation is completed, and they're included in the confirmation email that's sent to the guest upon completing a reservation. Let's start at the top of the page of the confirmation email tab and go through each section one by one. First, the reply to email address. This is the place where the property can designate what email address guests' replies to the confirmation emails will be sent. In many cases, after a guest receives a confirmation email from the property, they may still have a few questions. Many guests will simply reply to the confirmation email they received and expect answers back that way. Therefore, it's very important that the email address entered into this field is checked regularly. Next, the BCC email address and the BCC addresses are used for situations where the property owner or manager may want to receive a copy of all the confirmation emails sent out, in order to keep an eye on the reservations coming into the property, especially if they won't be checking OpenBook Express regularly. The guests will not see who is added to this list. To add a new email address to the BCC addresses box, enter the email in the BCC email address field and click Add BCC Address, like this. The address entered will then be added to the BCC address box here, and that address will receive a copy of every confirmation email sent out. To remove an email address from the BCC address box, just select the one you'd like to remove and click Remove BCC Address. The subject box, next, is what will show on the guest's confirmation email as the subject line. The subject line is important because it's shown before the guest opens the message in their email browser or internet browser, so a clear message needs to be added here, explaining that this is the confirmation email that they've been expecting. An example of a good subject line could be Downtown Hotel Reservation Confirmation Email. Next, the body. The body box can be used as an explanation for what the guest will see on the thank you page on OpenBook Direct, for example, or in the confirmation email. This message will show directly under the greeting to the guest before any of the policies show. An example of a good message to put in the body could be, "Thank you for making a reservation with Downtown Hotel. We look forward to serving you. Please view the property policies and your reservation details below." The next three sections on the page have to do with your cancellation policy for the property. It's very important that the same policy used for all call-in reservations or walk-in reservations be placed here for internet reservations, so as not to confuse the guest if they happen to call the property and ask about policies. It's not a good idea to have two different cancellation policies. To configure your cancellation policy, first make sure your page is in the edit mode by selecting the edit pencil in the top right corner. Then click on the blue link titled Cancellation Policy in the Edit Cancellation Policy section. A box will come up asking you to define your cancellation policy in detail. The first box is the handling fee. Some properties choose to charge a flat fee on top of any cancellation fee if a guest chooses to cancel. This amount will be charged once per cancellation. If you choose not to charge a handling fee, just leave the amount as zero. The time frame is how your property decides how to split cancellations with lesser cancellation penalties and cancellations with a greater cancellation penalty. For example, if I charged guests 75% of their total reservation if they cancel with less than 24 hours notice, and a flat fixed fee of $25 if they cancel with more than 24 hours notice, I would first select the time period of 24 hours. On the left side, which is the more than 24 hours notice policy, I would select the fixed fee box and then type in $25. On the right side, which is the less than 24 hours policy, I would option of percent of reservations total here and enter 75%. If you'd like to charge taxes on the cancellation fee, select the appropriate tax group below each section individually that was configured on the Taxes tab here in OpenBook Express. For more information on configuring your taxes, please see the Taxes and Rates training video. When you're finished defining your cancellation policy, click OK to exit the pop-up box. You can see that the cancellation policy has now been generated in the Generated Cancellation Policy box here. If you'd like to give additional instructions on how to cancel, or if you'd like to encourage the guests to reschedule without penalty rather than cancel, the Custom Cancellation Policy box is the perfect place to add those messages. Please keep in mind, though, that messages configured in the Custom Cancellation Policy do not replace the Generated Cancellation Policy that you've created. It is not one or the other. Both are displayed to the guest. Similar to the Cancellation Policies section, the next 3 sections have to do with configuring your deposit policy. The amount that you define here will not only be displayed to the guest as a policy, but it will also affect how much a deposit the guest is charged at the time of booking online. To configure your deposit policy, first make sure your page is in edit mode by clicking the edit pencil in the top right corner. Then click once on the blue link titled Deposit Policy. A box will come up asking you to define your deposit policy in detail. The time frame is how your property decides how to split reservations with a lesser deposit fee and reservations with a greater deposit fee. You can then select in the 2 sections on the right and left side of the box how to calculate the deposit fee. For example, if I charged guests a flat fee of $50 if they reserve with more than 24 hours notice, and 100% of their first night's rate if they reserve with less than 24 hours notice, I would first select the time frame of 24 hours. On the left side, which is the more than 24 hours in advance notice, I would select the fixed fee box and enter $50. On the right side, which is the less than 24 hours notice, I would select the first option of percent of first night's rate and enter 100% as seen here. If you'd like to charge taxes on the deposit fee, select the appropriate tax group below each section that was configured on the Taxes tab. Again, for more information on configuring your taxes, please see the Taxes and Rates training video. When you're finished defining your deposit policy, click OK to exit the pop-up box. If you'd like to give additional explanations or instructions for the deposit policy, the Custom Deposit Policy here is the perfect place to add those messages. Please keep in mind, again, similar to the Custom Cancellation Policy, that both policies will be displayed to the guest. It's not one or the other. Finally, the last section of the Confirmation Email tab is the Other Policy tab. This box is where you can add additional policies and information that you feel that the guest should understand before completing their reservation and arriving at the property. An example could be extra pet or smoking fees.